Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to move on to part 2 now of our modular building asset tutorial. So in part 1 we set up our scene and we create our first little bit of wall, and in part 2 now we are going to create a few more pieces. So let's go over to 3D Studio Max. Yep, there was a little piece we made last time, and what we are going to make this time, if we look back at our example, is we're going to make these little corner pieces with these big chunky bricks, and then after that we will maybe look at making these pieces with a little ridge here as well. So how do we do that? We're going to come back here to our basic template block. I'm going to select a couple of polys here, and I'm just going to with my snaps toggle deactivate it just for now. I'm just going to hold shift and drag this out and clone this. I'll call this wall underscore corner underscore mid. Now the reason why I'm calling it mid is because on our building, if this is going to be our total building, we can have these middle sections, but we can also have a base section down here, and the base might have a little plinth on it, and we can also have a top corner which will have a little parapet leading onto the roof as well. So this one, and this one will all be different. Now these three will all be this midsection just copied over, but we're always going to have a base, a middle, and a top. And that'll carry through for some other elements as well. So we're going to have a base in the middle of the wall. We've got our main wall section that we've just made down here, and our top of the wall section. So we've got this separated now, our little midsection. Excuse me. And what do we want to do? We need to fix our pivot point first of all. So we'll go over here, effect pivot only. And I'm going to turn my snaps back on and make sure vertex is activated there. And I will just move that down to the corner of the object. That's perfect. And then we're going to switch off effect pivot only. Now that the pivot point is in the right place, we are going to move this just down here. And I reactivated grid snapping there just so that we can snap this back on the grid. Now that I've done that, I'm going to turn off snapping again. Snapping is quite annoying. You only ever want snapping on whenever you actually need to use it, otherwise it can actually handicap you a wee bit because you'd be trying to select something and it keeps clicking to the grid points or whatever. Okay, so we're going to create this this corner piece. If we look back to our brick, we'll see we divided this into 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, and we're going to continue this on here as well. Make sure I'm actually showing the screen. Yes, I am. I actually started to record this before and it was 10 minutes in before realising I hadn't even switched over to 3D Studio Max. Just want to make sure I don't do that again, as it would be quite a pain in the backside. Okay, so I'm going to select these edges and I'm going to hit connect. Click the little settings button here and choose 2, 3 connections. We're going to be 4 sections altogether. That is perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually select all of my vertical ones now, and I'm going to connect these again. And I'm going to raise this up. Instead of just being 3, I'm going to just raise it 1 more. I just think visually it's just a wee bit nicer if these aren't quite square. So we're going to do 4 segments this way. It gives me 5 polys total. There we are. And what I want to do is I want to add these corner bricks. So if I go back to my polygon mode, don't need to select all of them, but what I want to do is create this kind of zigzagging pattern of bricks on the corner. And you can see here we have the way the brick works is we're sort of out to the left, then out to the right. Oh, maybe select you as well. Out to the left, then out to the right, out to the left, out to the right. But notice how we've always got sort of 1 then 2, or 2 then 1, repeating over. And the reason why we've got 4 sections here as well is that these will these can be stacked on top of each other, and it'll always give us big, small, big, small. If we actually just had this and it would be that shape, these would not actually tile well together, because we would see we'd get a tall on top of a tall once we stack these together, and it wouldn't quite look right. So if you have anything like this, bricks or whatever, always make sure you have an even number of segments so that they can stack on top of each other and look correct. Okay, so that's that. What we need to do is extrude these out now. But I'm not going to extrude these all as one, because then they will actually extrude all as one solid piece. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this one and this one. Because these two aren't touching each other, we can do both at once. I'm going to go to my extrude here and click on the settings button. And I don't want to extrude this by 10 centimeters, and I also don't want to extrude it by group. I'm going to switch this to local normal, and you'll see how this extrudes differently. There we go, it gives us a more square extrusion. And I'm going to set this down to about 3 centimeters. Just trying to think realistically, if you were looking at one of these, yes, they're big chunky bricks, but they're not actually sticking out that far compared to the regular bricks. So there we go, that is grand. And just for a bit of visual interest with these guys, I'm going to just take my scale tool and just in the vertical direction scale these down a bit, and it will give us a nice little taper here that we can better distinguish these blocks. So I'm going to just repeat that process for the other side now. Extrude them out 3 centimeters by local normal, perfect. And same thing again, just scale them down a wee bit. Now I'm just eyeballing this here, I'm not being too precise, it doesn't really matter. That looks about right, that's grand. Okay, so just last wee thing we'll do in making these bricks, I'm going to now select my line tool, and just so that these edges here are the same as the top and bottom edges, you can see there it's not quite tapered in. So I'm just going to grab all of the wee side edges from the 4 blocks here, and just get my move tool this time, and just shimmy them over a wee bit, just so we get that nice tapered edge of the bricks. And you'll see it even just makes them visually, it makes them pop a little bit more. You can see them a lot easier here, rather than on this side, they just kind of disappear in with the existing polygons. So it's kind of a good wee indicator of how that'll look in the game engine. So we just grab these 4 here as well. Just holding the control key to select multiple ones, and then just slide over, and there we go, perfect. That is all I want. Now, that's good to go, and I can really just start texturing this now, really. So how do we texture this? Not too difficult. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my Unwrap UVW, and I am going to break this into the strips. Let me see, Unwrap UVW, I'll select my polygon mode. I find a really nice quick way of doing this if I just open my UV editor. Also what I need to do as well, I'll just apply that our actual material to it. So just take our material here, I just press M to open up my material editor. I just drag you down onto that, and you'll see it's not lining up, obviously, because we haven't unwrapped it yet. But if I select this, and it's giving us a basic unwrap there, just these 2 spots, not great. So here's what we're going to do, we're going to move all you over here. Oh, sorry, that is, here's the thing. If we drag over this, it looks like we've selected everything, but it hasn't selected everything. And that's why we're getting these weird, these dragon lines here, because there's a polygon being left behind. There should be, yes, select, click this ignore back facing. Just make sure that's not checked. And that way, when we do this, we will in fact select everything. There we go. So what do I want to do? I want to break these individual little strips here. And just like with the extrusions, if I select these ones that aren't connected, and I hit my break key over here, break, I can now move both of these at once. And the only reason why I'm selecting the both of them is that it's faster than just selecting them individually, like this. And I'm just moving those out. Now again, these are, oh, that did not break quite correctly. Did I forget to hit break? Brick, there we go. These are going to be my 4 brick sections. So another thing I want to do as well, just make sure my texture is actually appearing here. So I'll click this guy again that we done last time. Pick texture, bitmap, Now it should have kept that in memory since the last time. I don't know why it didn't, but there we are. What I'm going to do now, if we remember logically how this is working, this one here is going to be touching the right edge. So the left side of this group touching the left. So we want all four of these to be aligned on the left. And we're going to just do the exact same thing that we did last time. We're just going to stack these up on top of each other. Take you guys. There we go. Close enough, as makes no difference. And we're going to align these to the left of this now, so that our tiles match up and left hits left, or left hits right rather. And we'll do the same thing, we'll just scale you up. And now I've got the scale and I'm holding the control key to keep it in proportion. You'll notice that because this is not a full 1 meter width, it's not going to go exactly the full width of the texture either. So I've got that to be there. And that's not looking too bad. If we were looking at these beside each other, they look pretty close, not too bad. But one thing that I don't like is that I'm getting just these tiny wee bits of brick here. Now again, blind man on a galloping horse would not notice that. Me being pernickety, I just want to take this a little bit and stretch it so that, now without shift being held down, I'm just going to pull this over just until that lines up with those lines there. And that way we're getting approximately half a brick. And we see some of the full bricks coming in there. And that's a lot neater, just a little bit nicer looking. So those bricks are looking okay. I'm not going to touch the blocks just yet. I'm going to do the same on this side now. Select you. Select you. Oops, where's my UV editor? Everything goes so slow, I should have kept that open. Zoom out. Same thing again, our little explode panel, hit brick. Bring you guys down here. Now we'll select you, you, and you. And we will break you as well. Bring you down in here. And again, we're just going to overlap all of these on top of each other. But this time we're overlapping to the right, because remember, it's going to be this right hand edge here that is going to connect to our tile of our just plain brick or whatever. So we're going to align all of these on the right, because the right edge is the one that's going to be aligning to our tile beside it. We want all the right edges to line up correctly so that we can tile them. So we'll select you, put you in here, and we just drag you up here like so. Align that with the right hand side, and we'll just hold control, scale you up until you're the full height, so we got all 4 bricks. And let me see, how's that looking? That's not too bad there. We could maybe shrink you, or sorry, expand you up just the tiniest wee bit, just to line you up with these 2 brick edges here. There's not a lot in it, but we'll just do that, just the tiniest wee amount. And stretching up that tiny wee amount, it's not going to affect the overall scale, but it just gives us a nicer wee edge here. There we go. So now all we have left is these 4 large chunky blocks. So that's them there. They're kind of separate. I'm just going to bring this closer on the UV panel so we can see them a bit better. And what I'm going to do, we don't really need to do too much to these. I am just going to take my line mode this time. And you can see that there's a lot of grain seams here. There's a lot of cuts here when we were already cutting the brick away. But we'll just have a few more to do to separate the individual bricks. So just go to select this one, hold control, hit this one. And again, hit my brick key, and that'll turn those seams green. You and you, you and you. And that's the last one we need to do, just hit brick again, just to turn those seams green. And that means these are all separate objects now. These can all be moved. Just go back to polygon. Yep, they can all separate up. And they're nice like so. Last wee thing I want to do really, I just want to flatten these out. As you can see, this is not looking too bad here. Let me see. Let me take this little brick here. I'll just move you down to the concrete. Which one is this now? Over here. So you can see we need to scale it up first of all, just so it gets better resolution. Whenever you select, you can see what's happening here, where it's looking okay on the front face, but these guys are not being flattened properly. So they're getting a bit of distortion, but we can fix that easy enough. All I need to do, first of all, to make sure this flattens out nicely, go back to my edge mode, just deselect element mode there. I'm going to select this one and hit break. And this is just putting a couple of wee scissor cuts in here. If you imagine flattening out a cereal box, we're just kind of doing, we're just cutting the seams so that it can be flattened out. And then what we're going to do is go back to polygon mode, and we select these, and sorry, if we click element mode as well, just to make sure that everything gets selected when we select this. So with element mode selected there, you'll see that if we click one polygon on this, it goes out as far as the UV island, and the UV island basically being the limits of those green seams. Everything that's covered by a green seam is what's called a UV island. So we've done that. What I can do now, let me see which button do I want to go. Some of these work, some of them don't. Relax until flat. There we go. Yep, that one will work perfect. Relax until flat, and you can see there that it's just kind of flattened out those seams. And now the tops and bottoms are also getting that nice concrete detail. So I'm going to select this again, and I'm going to just scale this up to fill up that concrete texture. Might as well get as much resolution on there as we can. And we're just going to scale it up. And the beauty of this is, because it's not quite a tiling texture, such as not going to the limits, we can do each piece and just place it randomly wherever we want here. And even if we place them randomly, it'll just give it slightly different results. Very, very slight in this case, but if you had a more detailed texture with a couple of wee cracks and dents in it, we just have each brick having their own wee kind of unique look. So really, all I want to do for this corner piece is I want to repeat that process. So I'm going to show you it once more, and then I will pause the video and unwrap it just myself. So edge mode, these wee corner snippets here. And in fact, before I do this, I'll just show you what happens if we don't snip here. So I'll select you, make sure element mode selected. Where are you at? There we are. Select this, move it down. If I hit my flatten button, and I'll scale you up as well, actually, just when we're doing it. If I hit my flatten button here, my relax until flat, you see what happens there. Because these two corners aren't disconnected, we can't unfold it nicely. So it's doing as good a job as it can, but the information it's getting is not quite right. So you can see the difference that we're getting between this and between this. This one is much nicer. And it's all down to just putting in those wee snips to begin with. So deselect element mode, back to edge mode. Select you, add in our wee snips there. And now if we go back to element and poly mode and we select all of that, we flatten it, happy days, looking lovely. I'll just expand you up, get as much textile space as we can. Perfect. So you can see there we've got one block that is now very, very nicely textured. So I'm going to pause the video here, just do the exact same process for the rest of these blocks. What we actually could do as well, now that I think on it, I could take, for example, this polygon and connect it to this polygon. And I mean, we have one less shape to snip out, so and it might just be a bit neater. Not at all necessary that we need to do this, but if I select my edge, I select this left edge here, you can see that this one's turning blue because it's connected to it. If I right click here, I'll just, actually I want to make sure I don't have element mode selected, I want to have just this one poly selected, and this one turns blue. If I right click, will this work? Stitch selected. Yes, it will. I'll bring that one down there. So now that is one whole brick. It's all connected together. I still need to do my wee snips on the corners, but it means I've got one less piece to worry about. So I will do that. Let me see, select you. Which one are you? That is you. Deactivate element mode. Always want to deactivate element mode. Which edge are you? So you're the wrong edge. I actually want this edge. Might be easier actually to select it here. There we go. And right click, stitch selected. And select this bottom one. Where are you? That's you two. I've already done these two, so I'm not going to worry about them. And this bottom one. So you can see I've selected that edge. We've got a big ring around it because it's actually two edges that we've technically got selected here. But just select either one of them. And when you're on the edge, right click, stitch selected. And you can see it just brings the whole brick together as one. So yep, I'm just going to pause the video now, snip these wee corners, hit that relax button, and then just place them onto my texture. But no point in you watching that. So we'll pause here and we'll reconvene in a few minutes. So there we go. I have just flattened those out and placed them all along that concrete strip. It looks a bit of a mess, but don't worry about it. The result is still working out okay. And if we look at our final corner piece, everything is grand there. Everything's looking lovely. So we're going to leave this video here. I thought I might get two squeezed into one, but that one took 20 minutes to do on its own. So we're going to leave this here, and in part 3 we'll look at the next wee section there. So thank you very much for watching. Any questions, as always, ask below, and I will see you for the next part very shortly.